is all I ever have. Redemption songs.
When you write that?
All my life.
Good morning and welcome to NBC 6 Voices. I'm Jawan Strader. Thank you for joining us. It's a Bob Marley weekend with the release of the much anticipated biopic, which dropped just a few days ago. NBC 6's Joanna Torres caught up with actor Kingsley Ben-Adir, who brought the reggae icon to life, and Bob Marley's son, Ziggy.
Yo, it means so much, not to me, to the whole world, me included. Because guess what now? You see how the world, you see what's happening in the world, right? Now, if we can have a movie by the name Bob Marley, One Love, be on billboards, and just that alone has sent such a message to the people. One love.
For anyone who loves Bob and loves his music, I think this movie really just gives you a glimpse of, I know what Ziggy describes. We were only ever trying to find a bit of his spirit, his music, his love of music. There's a real joyfulness in the film that I think is really feels like a tribute from the family to their dad, you know, just to say that they love him and his music and his life. I think everyone in Miami should come see it.
The Marley mystique also worked its magic on a brilliant local artist who could say had a unique role in the celebration of the film's release. When it comes to art, Charles Mark V smart. He don't worry about a thing. His fandom of Bob Marley has taken him from a sip and paint 10 years ago to a permanent exhibit at the Bob Marley Museum in Kingston, Jamaica. Now the Marley magic is reaching him again, this time with the debut of the new biopic Bob Marley, One Love. Charles Mark V smart is here now to explain a little bit more. Welcome to Voices this morning.
Thank you for having me, John.
You know, Charles, you and I go back, man. I've known you for years.
Yes.
Yeah, and I never knew you were this. Well, I knew you were talented, don't get me wrong. But I didn't know you were talented like this, my brother. You've been painting for how long?
So it was discovery. Sip and paint 10 years ago in Boca Raton. Went with a friend to celebrate the birthday, and the art teacher said, hey, you got something here. You should do something with it.
You never knew this.
And I never knew.
You never knew you had this talent. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, this is just all just there, random.
Wow. Okay, and you were tapped by Paramount Pictures to create a piece to commemorate the film?
Yeah, so because of my exhibit in the Bob Marley Museum, they reached out to me and asked me to paint a piece for promote the movie. They were having an event with TikTok in Arizona, and they wanted an interactive painting of Bob Marley to be created to promote the Bob Marley One Love movie. And so they asked me to create an interactive painting, and painted it, sent it off to them, and they've been using it as a promotional piece for the Bob Marley One Love movie.
And what am I looking at now? Because I see you have a painting here, but I also see one here right behind me, the One Love.
Got you. So the painting here is actually the interactive piece that was commissioned by Paramount and TikTok. And this is just one of the collection pieces in my collection of Bob Marley paintings. So I have a large collection of paintings of Bob Marley, which is why some of them are in the Bob Marley Museum in Jamaica. There's a permanent exhibit there in the Bob Marley Museum, a collection of 10 paintings that were donated there.
Yeah, because I was about to ask you, you are also the only artist to have a collection of Bob Marley paintings on permanent exhibit at the Bob Marley Museum.
That is correct. It's a permanent part of the Bob Marley Museum's collection. And the funds, the sale of the prints from those paintings go towards benefiting their Bob Marley Foundation partnership with UNICEF to raise money for education in Jamaica for impoverished kids.
So how did Paramount find you? I mean, you go from the journey of, you know, paint and sip to all of a sudden a museum and the movies.
Yeah, well, it all hadn't happened overnight, right? So the journey started with me going to the Bob Marley Museum and realizing that, okay, this is where I wanted it to be. Reached out to them, shared it with them, and it really kind of got inspired by this piece I shared on Facebook years ago when I first started. It went viral. It had, I think, 400,000 likes, 30-something thousand shares, and so that was the moment that I realized, okay, let me do something with it. And then when went to the Bob Marley Museum, I decided to go ahead and call them and ask them about having my exhibit there, and they agreed. And so Paramount later, after the Bob Marley, there was a One Love World Tour that happened, and you know, looking for artists, they reached out to me, sent me an email, asked me if I would be interested in doing a piece, and they commissioned me for the TikTok event to do this piece that you see here, which is an interactive piece, where people actually, the hearts that you see on the piece here,
yes,
were placed on it by individuals. And the word one love that you see there is one love in every language spoken across the world. And it was placed on the painting by individuals.
Wow. Wow,
So
that's pretty amazing, brother. And you call yourself an artivist, which entails a lot. Explain that.
So all of this time up until 2020, I was anonymous, which is one of the reasons you probably didn't know that I painted. Most people didn't know. So a friend of mine said to me that there's no such thing as a famous secret. And so I decided, when the George Floyd moment happened, I decided to put myself out there for the first time. And I created a docuseries and a painting called 46 Pleas to talk about, you know, what I felt was happening at that moment. And it was my way of being an activist. I didn't think the protest was the most effective way. I wanted to do something that was going to be more lasting and impact people. So I used art as the outlet. And so a friend of mine was talking to her, and she said, you know, you're kind of like an artivist, and it stuck. So I was like, I like that. And so I took that title on because it was also in line with the work I was doing before that, where I was using my paintings to generate money for charities. First charity I raised money for was in China when I was living in Shanghai. Then, you know, South Africa with Ubuntu, and, you know, some charities in here, in the UK and other places. So that's kind of how that kind of blossomed. And so it really fit into the model of what I was trying to create.
Amen,
about
brother.
creating impact.
So what's next? I mean, you already talked about your travels around the world, and we didn't go back into some of the other things. I mean, you've been in tech, you've been in fashion. You can kind of tell, by the way, by you already see his vest right here, that he's in fashion, and now art. So what's next for Mark V?
Well, right now, art is an outlet, it's a part of who I am. Tech is really my big focus right now, as you spoke about that. And so with the advent of AI, I have a company called Matai Block, which helps organizations right now to figure out how to use AI. And tech is my entrepreneurial drive. So art is more a part of my everyday. It's not going to ever go anywhere. I'll always be doing it. It's not my daily bread, but and I try to do things that are impactful. It's not about doing a lot of things, but the things that I do are very specific, and I try to do things I know are going to make an impact.
And where can folks get a hold of you? Of course, they may even want to see your pieces, but they can't make it to Kingston, Jamaica.
Got you. So you can log on to markphicreations.com. That's MARKPHI creations.com, and you'll be able to see the paintings there. And you could also visit Mark V Creations on Instagram, and you can follow me there to learn about, you know, the things I'm doing, and you can check out my posts and get an idea of the different things I'm up to. Well, brother, I'm very proud of you. Continue the great success that you continue to have on every single platform that you've done, you know, and I love it, man. And as Bob Marley would say, one love. All right, one love. I appreciate it, Jawan. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you, brother. Okay.